underutilized is the Nigeria Orientation Agency. I remember, I don't know if you can, we were growing up, and there was this campaign about a civil servant can have only 4 children. You see that a certain demography, almost all the children around that time were just 4 in their family. One
My
of
parents.
4. Because there was a conscious, there was another one. They call it Feto Samabibi. They said it in Yoruba. They said it in English. At the point, it was just acceptable that you can't have more than 4 children. Now, you are correct that, and I have had instances in which I'm in the car with my driver, and everybody is saying, well, hello, sir, to my driver, and I'm there, sitting down. Do you understand? Because that is how we're very patriarchal. So to come back to your question, I think that we all have a role to play. I think that the social media, the media, we have to make a conscious effort, even in parenting. It's something that it's across every sphere of life. In our churches, you see some churches that you can't be a minister if you're not a man, And so what does that say? Does it mean that the only people that God can use are men? It says something to the subconscious of the congregation. It says something to the subconscious of the people. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So it has to be, I would say, a community-wide effort. And we must start it as parents. It starts in the home. You are not inferior to your brother. So I have a son and a daughter. Whatever my daughter does, my son does. He needs to realize and understand that the fact that you are a man does not make you a superior entity to your sister. You are different, but you are equal. So we must propagate that gospel. We are different, we are wired differently, but it does not make one less than the other. So yes, to answer your question, it has to be nationwide. It has to be a concerted effort, an intentional effort to speak to that. But it's a long walk to freedom. It's not going to come easy.
Right.
But, we'll start somewhere.
Right. Taking a cue from what you just said, you mentioned the family. And the family is the basic unit of the society, right? The family is the basic unit of the society. So once we get things right with the family, hopefully we can get things right with our society. And if we look at the family system critically, you'd see that leadership position in the family is almost clearly defined, that the man is the head of the home.
Absolutely.
I like what you said, that you tell your son and daughter that both of you are different, but nobody is bigger than the other. Now, taking it to the parents, the father and the mother, how can we define the leadership to be different but equal?
Well, it's like, there's this thing, they carry me where I don't go. I don't know. They carry me go where I don't know, But you see, it's in that context. What I see and how I define it and how it works for me is, I say that my husband has the casting vote. So in the board, for example, you want to make a decision and it's, say, 50-50, and then there's one person that gets to, get one extra vote just because he's the chairman of the board. However, an individual does not make the board. You just so happen to be the chairman. I'm a Christian, and I'm quite conservative and traditional, and I believe the Bible that says clearly the husband is the head of the house. In that context, there is no way around it. It is. I appreciate that, I honor that, but it doesn't mean that I'm less of a partnership in that relationship. It just means that when we get to a tie, I realize that I don't get the casting vote. So that's how I like to prism it. So, we function effectively that way.
All right, so we're almost getting there. We have some elected female officials in this current dispensation.
Right.
How much responsibility do you think they have, owing to the fact that they are the representatives of not just the entire nation, but also women in particular, and their performance and how they perform in that particular office can also sort of open people's eyes to what a woman can do when given power. So how much of a responsibility do they have?
Well, I don't think that they have any responsibility differently from the men. They're role models, and I think that, well, perhaps it just behoves on them to make a conscious effort to show. So one of the things that I do is I try to tell young girls that there is nothing that you cannot achieve if you set your mind to it. And I got that from my father. So when you are doing well, and you say that to a younger lady, because you have walked that path, it's easier for her to believe you and understand you, because you're living the reality. So I don't think that they have any extra responsibility than to do well. However, the only thing I would say is there's an extra added layer for them to consciously mentor the younger female folks. And we've had excellent women in Nigeria. And I used talking about, the Dora Kiyuli, talking about Gozi Okonjo-Iweala. I mean, are you talking about so many people, so many women? We have strong women in Nigeria. I love them. I celebrate them. But we must do more to continue to inspire the younger ones that you can do it. If I can, so can you.
All right. So now let's talk about generations, right? The youngest generation is the Generation Z. I don't know if you have a child or children in that category, but there's some sort of pandemic happening with that generation and also the millennials as well. There's certain values that seem to be changing. Okay, I'm trying as much as possible to put this in the best way that I can, but we now see a generation that you see that young girls, they aspire to be the best they can, right? So I don't want to generalize. Some of them aspire to be the best they can. But also you see some imbibing certain qualities and high dependency on men, for certain resources. I don't know if you get what get where I'm going to. So how do you think we can sort of, encourage the girl child that you are powerful, you are independent, and you are also equal with this man, and you should try as much as possible to be the best that you can?
That is a very sensitive question, and I see that you're picking your words so that you do not, people do not hear what you have not said, because sometimes people hear what you did.
Right.
I think, again, that at the heart of some of these behaviors is greed. And greed is the enemy of the heart. What is enough? There is never enough of anything, but you must be able to say, how far can I go for what I think that I need? Some of that is also, I have to go back, and parenting is so important. I cannot overemphasize it. All right? That is very important, because I would not, for example, my nephew, you come home with a G-Wagon. You are, how? Where from? Or my niece. From where now? We are going to me and you are going to the police station. So what about, there was something I was reading on social media, just to underscore the importance of parenting, about association of Yahoo mothers. People who know that their children are Yahoo and they have an association. What does that speak to? It speaks to defective parenting. Do you understand what I'm saying? But irrespective of what their parenting is, this is me saying to the girl child, what is in between your hairs are so powerful. You can be anything. You can earn everything that the man is earning without doing some of the things that you have. So believe in yourself and go for it. You're gonna get it.
On that note, I'd like to say a big thank you to you. And on behalf of the men, I would like to say that we respect, we honor women, and women are such an